hostages still in Gaza. The International Committee of the Red Cross confirmed. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's office said the remains were received by Israeli forces and would be taken for forensic testing. The two remaining deceased hostages are Israeli police officer Ran Guli and Thai national Sutzizak, both kidnapped during Hamas's October 7, 2023 attack on Israel. And now the Geneva-based ICRC has acted as an intermediary throughout the conflict, facilitating the release of living hostages and the transfer of remains. This handover is part of the October ceasefire agreement and highlights ongoing efforts to resolve the humanitarian aspects of the two-year war in Gaza. And joining us live is now Shruti Dasgupta, International Affairs expert, joining us live from New Delhi. Thank you, Shruti, for joining us here at NewsX World this morning. Appreciate you giving us your time. Now, another hostage's body has been handed over to Israel, but the ceasefire remains brittle. How do you weigh this?
Well, the exchange of prisoners with the captives, as well as the remains of the captives that Hamas has given up, is a step towards peace, a much required step towards peace, but it's a very small one. As you have correctly called it, the peace is very brittle, fragile, can be fractured at any moment by aggressive actions from either side. But for now, the bodies that have been sent, the latest bite about it is that they were small pieces, they were not intact bodies, one. Two, that the forensic reports are claiming that they are not of the people that were taken by Hamas at that time. So probably a random body handover has been done to kind of quell the peace, which raises the third point, whether those people are still alive and have been kept as a pawn to the peace that is there, or is Hamas not willing to comply with the rules of peace that have been set forth by the world, and whether something worse has happened to these people at the hands of Hamas, and the horrors are so bad that they cannot afford to give the exact remains back to Israel, because they understand that it would provoke public sentiments against Hamas and their deeds. So the hostage standover, what we've known is there are open source media videos that are available that show that sometimes they would take random bodies out, bury them in the rubble in Gaza, and then rush to call the Red Cross people and say, look, we found the bodies. So there are incidences that kind of relate to why the forensic testing is being done, because the faith in Hamas's humanity is lesser than zero as of now. And so the current hostage exchange and the remains exchange is critical to see how far this peace will last.
Shruti, there are also claims of an increasing number of journalists being killed in Gaza, Lebanon, even in Israel. How do you view that situation there?
Well, that is the fog of war, unfortunately. If you're reporting from an active zone where the war is happening, there are bombs as well as ammunition exploding near you, then you are willingly putting yourself in the line of fire. This is what happens with soldiers, also civilians, as well as journalists who put their lives online to give the world the correct view of what's actually happening on ground. So killing of journalists in an active combat zone is not an unknown fact. It is a very common thing. They get injured in their line of duty, their chosen field, and they have a lot of trauma when they come back from such kind of war zones after reporting. So this is part of the job that they take on. They have willingly put their lives on a particular, at a particular risk zone. Now, beyond that, if you claim that they are deliberately taking on journalists, as in they have identified a person and then shot him because they are a journalist, that is a point of concern. Journalists have lost their lives because this is an urban warfare. And urban warfare demands larger loss of casualties than a military to military combat. So that is why a larger number of journalists have seen atrocities happen, and they've faced active combat and lost their lives to it. It is regrettable, but I hope that they understand it is never targeted towards the journalists. Rather, some of them have been found to be working with October 7 Hamas. In fact, some of them, Reuters, I believe, has been unable to identify this, but they had one of their own journalists was found to be part of the October 7th celebrations and attacks. So there is a larger gray zone in the conversation about the loss of life for journalists.
All right, clearly larger call for protection for those reporting in war-torn areas. But thank you, Shruti, for speaking to us here.